Before humans learned to create and control light, the world belonged to darkness. When the sun went down, life retreated, fragile, cold, and afraid. Fire changed everything. The first spark, perhaps born from a lightning strike or the friction of stones, gave humankind more than warmth. It gave power, the ability to push back the night. Fire became the center of human existence. Around it, people cooked, told stories, and felt safe. In almost every ancient culture, fire was seen as divine. In Greek mythology, Prometheus stole it from the gods. In Polynesia, Maui brought it up from the underworld. To control light was to control nature itself. The earliest lights were primitive torches, bundles of wood or reeds soaked in animal fat or resin. They burned unevenly, smoked heavily, and produced only a faint, flickering glow. Yet they marked humanity's first step toward artificial illumination. Archaeologists have found torch marks on the walls of caves used over 30,000 years ago, the first evidence of humans carrying their own light into darkness. As civilizations grew, people sought steadier sources. Around 4000 BCE, the ancient Mesopotamians invented the first oil lamps, small clay bowls filled with animal fat or olive oil, with a linen wick that drew up the fuel. This design spread through Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Oil lamps became symbols of knowledge and vigilance. In temples and tombs, they were kept burning as offerings to the gods or the dead. The Romans improved the design, casting lamps from bronze and decorating them with mythological scenes. They also experimented with different fuels, fish oil, sesame oil, even castor oil. Light became more practical, though still a luxury. Most homes used only one lamp at a time, conserving precious oil. Streets remained dark, and nighttime was still a world of thieves and danger. Over the centuries, the wick lamp evolved, but one invention changed daily life more profoundly than any before it: the candle. Early forms appeared in ancient China and Rome around 500 BCE. The Chinese made theirs from whale fat or insects mixed with paper wicks. The Romans used tallow, rendered animal fat, which was cheap but foul-smelling and smoky. Despite these flaws, candles spread throughout Europe after the fall of Rome, becoming the primary source of light for over 1,000 years. By the Middle Ages, candlemaking became a craft. Wealthier households used beeswax, which burned cleanly and smelled sweet, while common people relied on tallow. In monasteries and churches, candles held deep symbolic meaning, representing purity, knowledge, and divine presence. Entire guilds of chandlers arose, refining methods for melting, pouring, and cooling wax. For centuries, every hour of work and worship depended on the small flame of a candle. In the 18th century, improvements began to appear. Chemists discovered that wax from spermaceti, a substance found in the head cavity of sperm whales, burned with a bright, white light and little smoke. These candles were expensive, but marked a turning point. Meanwhile, in 1820s Britain, the Industrial Revolution brought a new innovation: stearine candles, made from purified animal fats treated with acid. They were cheaper, harder, and longer-lasting, the forerunners of modern paraffin candles. Before the invention of matches, people relied on far more laborious methods to create light. For thousands of years, fire was preserved rather than remade. Families kept embers glowing in their hearths so they would never need to start from scratch. When the flame died out, sparks were struck from flint and steel, falling onto a piece of tinder, often made from dried fungus or charred cloth. The glowing ember was carefully blown into flame and used to ignite a torch, a candle, or a lamp. By the Middle Ages, small fire kits, containing flint, steel, and tinder, were carried everywhere by travelers, soldiers, and sailors. Lighting a candle took patience and skill, and in many homes, a single flame could be the source for every other light in the house. In the late 18th century, scientists began experimenting with chemical ignition, phosphorus-tipped sticks that ignited upon contact with air. But these early versions were unstable and dangerous. The real breakthrough came in 1826 when John Walker, an English chemist, invented the first friction match. With a single strike, humanity could summon fire instantly, a small spark that forever changed the way we brought light into the world. Still, the world remained dim. Cities were dark, and travel after sunset was dangerous. Then, a new source of light appeared: gas. By heating coal in airtight chambers, engineers produced flammable gas, which could be piped into buildings and streets. In 1807, London's Pall Mall became the first street in the world illuminated by gas lamps. Within decades, every major European city followed. Paris earned its nickname, the City of Light, not for its culture alone, but for its glowing boulevards. Gas lighting transformed urban life. Shops could stay open late, theaters thrived, and streets became safer. But gas was far from perfect. Leaks caused explosions and fires, and air in closed rooms became suffocating. Engineers sought something safer, cleaner, and brighter. The answer came with electricity. In 1800, Alessandro Volta built the first battery, showing that electric current could be generated chemically. Soon after, inventors began experimenting with arc lamps, where electricity jumped between two carbon rods, creating a blinding white light. These were used to illuminate large public spaces like streets and train stations, but they were too intense and noisy for homes. The true revolution arrived with the invention of the incandescent bulb. Dozens of inventors contributed to it, but in 1879 Thomas Edison achieved what others could not: a practical, long-lasting electric lamp. His design used a carbon filament sealed in a vacuum, glowing steadily without burning away. It lasted hundreds of hours and could be mass-produced. Edison's bulbs quickly spread across the world. By the early 20th century, entire cities gleamed under electric light. Nightlife flourished. Factories ran around the clock. The human rhythm changed. We no longer live by the sun, but by the switch. Later improvements refined the idea. In 1904, tungsten filaments replaced carbon, burning hotter and brighter with less energy. In the 1930s came fluorescent lamps, producing light by exciting mercury vapor inside glass tubes, far more efficient for offices and factories. The 1960s introduced halogen lamps, which recycled their gases to extend filament life. At the turn of the 21st century, the LED, light-emitting diode, revolutionized illumination once again. Using semiconductors instead of filaments, LEDs produced brilliant light with minimal energy. They could shine for decades, changing color and intensity at will. Light was no longer just function, it became digital, programmable, and everywhere. Today, from skyscrapers to smartphones, from satellites to deep-sea probes, light surrounds human life in every form imaginable. We use it to heal, to communicate, to explore the universe, and to preserve our memories in photographs and screens. Yet behind every modern bulb lies the same ancient desire to conquer darkness. From the flicker of a torch in a cave to the glow of a city seen from orbit, the history of light is the history of civilization itself. The story of how we turn night into day, and how, with every spark, we learned a little more about the world and ourselves. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment to join the journey through history. See you in the next video.